Hello everyone, welcome to today's class. So, today in 8th standard science we are going to discuss chapter 7. Chapter name is Human Body and Organ System. So, in this chapter we are going to discuss about human body and organ system. So, our body, what all organs are there in our body and how our body organs or systems, organ systems functions. So like the respiratory system helps us to breathe, digestive system, circulatory system. So we are going to discuss about this in this chapter. Different organs in our body are working in group so as to smoothly carry out various life processes. So in our body different organs are there like heart, lungs, kidney. So all these organs are working in group so to carry out our life processes like breathing, etc. So specific organs carry out a specific step. So breathing is done by our lungs. The circulatory system, the main organ in that is heart, and we have excretory system and also digestive system in our body. So a specific organ carry out only a specific life process. Group of organs working together to perform a specific function is called a organ system. So the group of organs like in breathing, it starts from our nose, lungs, windpipe. So these group of organs are working together to perform the life process of breathing or respiration. So the group of that organs, lungs, windpipe, nose, they are called an organ system. Various organ systems like digestive, respiratory, circulatory, nervous, excretory, reproductive, skeletal, muscular, etc. are functioning in our body. So the various life processes or organ systems in our body are digestive system, to digest the food that we take, respiratory system help us to breathe, circulatory system circulates blood in our body, nervous system carry out the nervous impulse passing, excretory system to remove excretory waste, reproductive system, skeletal system and muscular system. Energy is essential to operate all the life process in human body. So to function effective functioning of all these life processes, energy is needed in the human body. So how this energy is produced? Energy production occurs within the cells. So the basic unit of human body is cells. So cells produce the energy needed for the life to operate life processes. Cells need the supply of soluble nutrients and oxygen for this purpose. So how energy is produced within the cells? And cells need enough soluble nutrients and oxygen to produce energy. This supply takes place with the help of respiratory and circulatory system. So what is the main role of respiratory and circulatory system? To supply enough nutrients and oxygen to the cells so that they can produce energy. So now we are going to discuss about respiration. So the respiratory system helps us to breathe, that we take oxygen and give out remove unwanted carbon dioxide. So there are the three steps in respiration are external respiration, internal respiration and cellular respiration. So the first is external respiration. So in external respiration there are two processes. Inspiration means taking in of air or inhalation, and expiration. Expiration means giving out of air or carbon dioxide through nose. So expiration and inspiration, that is inhalation and exhalation. So in inspiration air is taken through the nose and sent towards the lungs through the trachea or windpipe. So that is inspiration, that is taking in of air through nose and send to the lungs through the windpipe, that is trachea. Next is expiration or exhalation. Oxygen from the inspired air goes into the blood. So what happens to the air that is taken inside. The oxygen from that inspired air goes into the blood, and blood carries the CO2 from various parts of body towards the lungs. So the waste, unwanted CO2 that is produced is carried out to the body by blood. Blood carries the CO2 from various parts of the body towards the lungs, and from lungs it is given out or exhaled in the form of air. So blood carries the CO2 from various parts of the body towards lungs, and from lungs it is exhaled through air. So oxygen is taken in and CO2 is expired out. Both of these processes occur with the help of lungs, collectively called the external respiration. So these two are the external respiration. Now we are going to the internal respiration. Exchange of gases between cells and tissue fluid is called the internal respiration. So the exchange of gases means taking off oxygen and giving out of CO2. So these processes take place between cells and the tissue fluid. So that is called the internal, second step of respiration, internal respiration. So oxygen moves from blood into tissue fluid, and the carbon dioxide, that is CO2, moves from tissue fluid into the blood. So oxygen moves into the tissue fluid and CO2 moves outside or moves from the tissue fluid into the blood, and that is passed out. So the next one is cellular respiration. So dissolved nutrients like glucose are slowly burnt with the help of oxygen, and energy is released in the form of ATP. So inside the cell, how the respiration takes place, cellular respiration, that is the third step. So the dissolved nutrients like glucose is oxidized with the help of oxygen, and energy is released. So oxygen is oxidized, means burnt with the help of oxygen, and the energy is released in the form of ATP. ATP means the energy molecule that is released. Waste material like CO2 and water vapors are produced during this energy production process, and the cellular respiration can be summarized in chemical formula is this, that is C6H12O6. that means the chemical formula of glucose plus oxygen gives 6 CO2, carbon dioxide plus 6 H2O, water vapor plus energy, 38 ATP molecule. ATP means energy molecules, adenosine triphosphate, that is the expansion of ATP. So ATP, energy is produced by oxidizing glucose with the help of oxygen. Glucose plus oxygen gives CO2 plus water vapor plus energy. Next we are going to the respiratory system structure. So this is the respiratory system. So what are the different structures? Nose, pharynx, windpipe, lungs. So these are the basic organs involved in the respiratory system. So what is the function of nose? The respiratory system and respiration begins with the nose. So the respiratory system starts from the nose. Air is filtered with the help of hair and mucus present in the nose. So air is filtered with the help of hair and mucus present in the nose. That is, when we take oxygen, there will be so many dust particles in the air, for unwanted particle. So the function of hair and mucus inside the nose is to filter those air and only take the oxygen or the pure air inside our body. So next one is pharynx. So here is the pharynx. Pharynx is the opening of the windpipe. So food pipe and windpipe originate in the pharynx. So from pharynx, the food pipe and windpipe. Windpipe is connects to the lungs. That is for the passage of air only, windpipe, and food pipe is for the passage of our food to the digestive system, that is to our stomach. So from pharynx, the food pipe and windpipe originate, means they start. Windpipe is present in front of the food pipe. So windpipe is present in front of the food pipe. You can see windpipe and also the food pipe that connects with the mouth pipe. and there is a lid at the beginning of the windpipe. So at the beginning of windpipe there is a lid, and this lid closes the windpipe during passing of food into the food pipe, thereby normally prevents the entry of food particles into the windpipe. So the lid is present there so as to protect our windpipe from entering the food when we take food through the food pipe. Otherwise windpipe remains open, so hence air passes through pharynx into the windpipe. So only when we take food the windpipe remains closed, otherwise the windpipe remains open, so we can pass the air through the windpipe. So the next one is first organ in the respiratory system was nose, next is a pharynx, and the third is a windpipe. A windpipe is swollen at the beginning due to sound box. You can see windpipe is swollen due to the presence of sound box. Windpipe bifurcates in the thorax. Bifurcates means a type of movement, and one branch enters the bifurcate into thorax means it divides into two. So one branch enters the right lung and the other into the left lung. So windpipe bifurcates into two at the thorax region, means the chest region, and it divides one into the left lungs and the other into the right lungs. So this is the structure of the windpipe. So also the sound box, our sound box is situated inside the windpipe. The next is the lungs. The lung is a lung is present on either side of the heart in the thoracic cavity. So our body have two lungs and each one is present on the either side of the thoracic cavity. Maximum area of the thoracic cavity is occupied by lungs and they cover the maximum part of heart. So heart is situated in between the lungs. So maximum area of heart is covered by both the lungs. Each lung has double layered covering. It is called a pleura. So our lungs have two double layer covering. So that covering of the lung is called a pleura. Lungs are elastic like a sponge. So lungs are elastic means they like a sponge. They are elastic. So the lungs are made up of many small compartments called the alveoli. So the so many pores are present. Pores or small openings, compartments are present inside our lungs. So the basic small opening in small openings like a sponge are present inside our lungs. So that is called the alveoli. And lungs are made up of many small compartments. Rich network of capillaries is present around each alveoli. So a network of capillaries are present. You can see capillaries are surrounds the alveoli. The walls of alveoli and capillaries are extremely thin. You can see this is alveoli. Alveoli means a small opening like a sponge. You can consider our lungs like a sponge. So a sponge has small opening. So each that opening like compartment in our lungs is called a alveoli, and it is covered by network of capillary, and the walls of the capillaries and alveoli are too thin. Gaseous exchange can easily take place across this thin wall. So the gaseous exchange, that is the exchange of oxygen and CO2 takes place between the alveoli and the capillary. As large number of alveoli is present in each lungs, large surface is available for gaseous exchange. So each lungs have a large number of alveoli. So gaseous exchange take place through the alveoli into the lungs. So exchange of gases in lungs. Gaseous exchange occurs continuously while blood is circulating around the alveoli. So capillaries circulate. Capillary means they carry the blood. So they circulate blood outside the alveoli. So the gaseous exchange take place through it. An iron containing protein, hemoglobin, is present in the RBCs of blood. We know that RBC, red blood cells in our blood, it has a iron containing protein called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is present in the RBC, red blood cells of our blood, and hemoglobin absorbs the oxygen from the air within a alveoli. So inside a alveoli, hemoglobin absorbs the oxygen from air. So from the air that we take, oxygen is absorbed by the hemoglobin present in our blood. So this is important. Hemoglobin absorbs the oxygen from air within the alveoli. So and hemoglobin is present in the red blood cells. Simultaneously, CO2 and carbon dioxide and water vapors moves from blood into the alveoli. So the gaseous exchange, that conversion, breaking down of glucose plus oxygen into CO2 and water vapor. CO2 and water vapor moves from blood into the alveoli, and oxygen is taken into the blood, and CO2 water vapor are removed from the blood and given out by exhalation. So this is a gaseous exchange take place inside the lungs. The fifth part of the respiratory system is the diaphragm. So what is a diaphragm? A muscular partition is present at the base of the thoracic cage. So you can see the diaphragm in this picture. So this muscular partition present in the lower side of the thoracic cavity is called a diaphragm. So what is the function of diaphragm in our respiratory system? So this muscular partition present at the base of the thoracic cavity is called a diaphragm, and this partition is called diaphragm, and it is present between the thoracic cavity and abdominal cavity. So our digestive system, that is stomach, is present in the abdominal cavity. So the diaphragm is situated between thoracic cavity and abdominal cavity. Present between thoracic cavity, abdominal cavity, and simultaneous rising up of ribs and lowering of diaphragm causes a decrease in pressure on the lungs. So when rising up of ribs, that means when we exhale, the ribs will rise. Ribs means the bones present in our thoracic abdominal region, and when the ribs rise, the diaphragm lowers, causes decrease in pressure. So lower pressure will be inside our lungs, and due to this air moves into the lungs. So that is the process of inhalation, means inspiring, taking in of air. That is the ribs rise up, lowering of diaphragm moves to the lower side, and this causes a decrease in pressure in the lungs, and this so lower pressure means air moves into the lungs through nose. When the ribs return to their original position, diaphragm rises up. So when the ribs means the bones present in the abdominal region returns to its original position, diaphragm rises up. So the pressure in the lungs increases. Ribs return to their original position, diaphragm will rise up, and pressure inside the lungs increases. So when pressure increases, air moves outside the lungs, that is air moves out through the nose. Continuous upward and downward movement of diaphragm is necessary to bring out the breathing. So for breathing, what is the main function of diaphragm? Continuous upward and downward movement of diaphragm is necessary to bring about the breathing process. So that is the function of the diaphragm. So next we are going with the circulatory system. Circulatory system means blood is circulatory. So our body fluid is blood. Fluid present in our body is blood. So the blood circulates all the oxygen, carbon dioxide, nutrients to all the organs, cells, tissues of our body. So we are going to discuss about the circulatory system. So the main organ of the circulatory system is our heart. So the circulatory system performs a functioning of transport of various substances like water, hormones, oxygen. So the circulatory system means the blood transports many substances like water, hormones, oxygen, soluble nutrient, waste material through different organs. An independent system for blood circulation is present in humans and higher animals. It consists of heart. So heart, blood vessels, capillary. So these are the organs in the circulatory system: heart, blood vessels, and capillaries. Heart structure and function. So we are going to discuss about heart, its structure and function. Heart is present almost at the center of the thoracic cage. So we know that heart is situated between our two lungs. Heart is present. That means in the thoracic cavity. It is present behind the ribs. So heart is present behind the ribs between two lungs and slightly inclined on the left side. So it is slightly tilted to the left side. Size of our heart is equal to one's on fist. So our hands fist size, that much will be the size of our heart. Its weight is about 360 gram. So it is covered by a double layered peritoneal membrane. So our lungs is also covered by two double layer called pleura, and the double layer of heart is called peritoneal membrane. A fluid is present between two membranes, due to which heart is protected from friction and mechanical shocks. So our heart needs protection from mechanical shocks and friction, means when our body moves or any other external forces, so from crashes, so from all that our heart needs protection. So a fluid is present between the double layer, that is the peritoneal membrane. Human heart is a muscular organ, so it is made up of muscles, cardiac muscles. Involuntary means they doesn't move. We can't move our heart on our own. So its movement is on its own. So we can't control the movement of the muscles of our heart. So involuntary cardiac muscles are present in our heart. They contract and relax with a definite rhythm. So our heart muscles contract and relax. So these two are the two movements of our heart. So we can't control it. It is involuntary cardiac movement, and this is called beating of heart. So the contraction and the relaxation of our rhythmic means it has a definite tune of contraction and relaxation. So that process is called the beating of heart. Internally, heart is divided into left and right compartments. So our heart have two compartments internally, left and right, and by a vertical partition. So a vertical partition is also there. You can see the left compartment, right compartment, also a vertical partition. You can see vertically also partition is there. Each of this compartment is again divided into two chambers. So each compartment is again divided into two chambers. Thus in all, heart consists of four chambers, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 chambers are present in our heart. Upper chambers are called the atria. So the upper 2 chambers are called the atria. So one is present in the right and one is present in the left. So and the lower chambers are ventricles. So atrium and ventricle. So two right atrium and left atrium, right ventricle and left ventricle. So this is our heart structure. So to the right atrium and the left ventricles, the lower ventricles and the upper atrium. So 4 compartments are present. Also the blood carrying capillaries, that are the pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein is also the superior vena cava, systemic aorta you can see, and also the superior vena cava, pulmonary veins you can see, right pulmonary veins and left pulmonary artery. So these two carries blood inside and carries blood from the heart. So these are the structure of the heart. The structure of heart and blood circulation. Blood vessels. So what is the structure and function of blood vessels? Heart is continuously beating. Due to this, blood continuously circulate through blood vessels, and there are 2 main types of blood vessels. So our heart is continuously beating. So due to this, blood is continuously circulating through our blood vessels, and there are 2 main types of blood vessels, arteries and veins. Arteries and veins. So these 2 are the blood vessels. Blood vessels which carry the blood away from heart are called arteries. So the arteries carry blood away from the heart, and expect that one carrying blood towards the lungs all carry oxygenated blood. So arteries carry oxygenated blood, means oxygen rich blood, and they carry blood away from the heart. Carry oxygen rich, oxygenated blood means oxygen containing blood. They are deeply located in the body and their walls are thick. So the walls of arteries are thick and they don't have walls. So you can see they don't have walls and valve inside, and their walls of the arteries are thick. Next is vein. Veins, vessels carrying blood towards the heart from various parts of the body are called the veins. So veins carry blood towards the heart from various parts of our body. All veins except the one carrying blood from lungs transport deoxygenated blood. So all the veins expect that transport blood from the lungs. All of them carry the deoxygenated blood, means not, they doesn't contain oxygen. So veins carry deoxygenated blood, and the arteries carry the oxygen containing, that is oxygenated blood. Most of the veins are superficially located in the body. Their walls are thin, so you can see walls of the veins are thin, and they are provided with valves, so they have valves inside. So the veins have thin wall, and they have valves inside, and arteries walls are thick.